What's up, everyone? It's your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. How's everyone doing? Sorry about yesterday. Woke up, didn't have no internet, and just my data phone, obviously, but that wasn't going to really work on my. That wasn't going to work on to do a show, so I had to cancel it, and it was all right considering woke up extremely exhausted as well yesterday. So kind of a win-win, I suppose. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the show that I was going to do yesterday, so I'm going to do it today. I have yet to go to sleep, so I am thoroughly exhausted at the moment. But that's okay. When am I not exhausted doing these things? I'm debating whether to change some stuff up and maybe start the show just a little bit later so I'm not so tired when I do it. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, so what we're going to talk about today, like I said, was what I was going to discuss yesterday, which is looters in Philly. There's been some looting going on in Philadelphia, so we'll check. Look at some of the stories when it comes to that. I've added some more things since I didn't do my show yesterday. So we'll have just a few extra things just to make up for it, I guess. So the show might run a little later than normal. Sorry, getting stuff situated here. Okay. So yeah, looters in Philadelphia. There's some lady named Meatball who got arrested after instigating looting. Although it just turned out not too long ago that she's also already released. And then we'll look at a BLM organized in Chicago. Kind of the theme because it is what it is. Because she mentions looting and stuff. And then a veteran loses his room in a nursing home to make room for an illegal immigrant. So we'll check that out as well. This atrocity, and this comes at the same time as the governor of New York is calling for the National Guard to come assist them in their crisis of the migrant issue. So they're calling for the National Guard all the while they're kicking out veterans from their nursing homes. So we'll check that out. California, after losing their assault weapons, their magazine ban, is now increasing the taxes, doubling them, in fact, on guns and ammunition. And they're saying they're going to use the money to pay for more security at public schools and various violence prevention program. So we'll check that out. And let's see. Then Joe Behar is dumb. Or Joy Behar is dumb. Wow, I wrote her name as Joey. That shows how much I care about this bitch. She says something dumb. So Joy Behar is dumb. Says that the country could survive if Biden dies in office, but won't survive a Trump win. Kind of forgetting that we've already survived it once, and actually our life was pretty good. So there's that. Okay, I already got that. So and then what else? And then we got some updated news on the Hunter Biden stuff. The Republicans claim to have bank wires from Beijing going to Joe Biden's Delaware address, so we'll check that out. His attorney apparently explains why. And then also, Texas has a Democratic lady that's I don't know. She talks and it gives me that ghetto vibe, And yes, she's black, so maybe I'm just a bit racist. I don't think I am, but when she was talking, it just gave me that uh that ghetto vibe. You know what I'm saying? Um, but she claims that the only thing Biden is guilty of is loving his child unconditionally. Okay, lady. Okay, but before we get into all of that, all right, before we get into all of that, we do have some breaking news. It's I don't know. In my opinion, it's not that very sad. Just because I'm an asshole and I have no feelings. But it is news and it is breaking, and that is Dianne Feinstein, Democratic Senator for California, is dead. She passed away. Uh, no, earlier today. At some point earlier today. Um, yeah. So, yeah, at some point today it was announced. So, which it's unfortunate when someone dies, of course. Regardless of their politics, it's unfortunate when someone dies. But let's just be honest here. She's 90. She was 90. Okay, this isn't a huge surprise. The fact she made it to 90 was the surprise. The fact that she died isn't. Okay, she was 90. Now, I know that may be cold-hearted and everything like that, and I don't mean it to come out that way. I'm just saying that if I get to 90 years old by some miracle, and then one day I die, it should not be coming as a shock, especially considering for more than a year she's had extensive health issues, and it's been so bad she actually had a conservatorship laid on her by her daughter. So this isn't a huge surprise, to be honest. But thoughts and prayers to her family. Of course, I know I haven't experienced it yet, but I know it's someday in the future I will be experiencing the loss of parents, and I'm sure it's really hard on her daughter, even though she's 90 and you kind of expected it. But of course, even if you expect it, it's gonna be hard. So thoughts to and prayers to her daughter. I hope she makes it through it relatively okay. But yeah, like I said. So let's see. Wow. She was present in the Senate on Wednesday and cast a vote, and then missed 2 votes later in the afternoon. So she did a vote one last time. Okay. So let's see. The major whip, Senator Dick Durbin, Democrat of Illinois, I'm assuming that is. Remembered Feinstein as a friend and a colleague for more than 2 decades. She was my friend, my seatmate on the Senate Judiciary Committee for over 20 years. She was always the lady, but she never backed down from a cause that she thought was right. She had written a great record in areas like assault weapons ban. That's a fail. Violence against women, so many other areas. We lost one of the real leaders in the Senate, Durbin told Fox News. Now, again, to be fair, you kind of lost her about a year ago, or whenever she started having some big issues. Well, probably 3 months ago, because then she had a really long absence. Senator Mark Rubio, Republican of Florida, who sat with Feinstein on the Senate Committee on Intelligence, said she was a political pioneer with a historical career of public service. Intelligent and hardworking, and always treated everyone with courtesy and respect, Rubio wrote on X. May God grant her eternal rest. So this is what this is her, and on July 20th, Senate Feinstein, the longest serving female senator ever, was elected to the role in 92. Senator Feinstein led a bipartisan group of senators in passing legislation to drastically increase the fuel efficiency of cars. She was the leading voice in the efforts to legalize gay marriage and ensure rights for LGBT Americans. She's a champion for the preservation of the Mojave Desert, Lake Tahoe, and California's forests. She helped create the nationwide Amber Alert network, passed bills to criminalize border drug tunnels. And, oh, wow. I wonder how she was on the border. She has long focused on improving California's water infrastructure and reduce the threat of wildfires. It added she noting that she had pushed for common sense gun laws. Fucking hell. What the fuck? Okay. Her biography says her most notable achievement, the very terrible achievement, I guess, was the enactment of the federal assault weapons ban in '94. So 2 years after she gets elected, she helps pass this fucking bill. Wow, good job. The 6-year review of interrogation program of the CIA's detention and interrogation program that culminated in the 2014 release of the report's executive summary and passage of legislation ensuring that certain post 9/11 interrogation methods are never used again. Oh, okay. Prior to serving as a senator, Feinstein spent 9 years as San Francisco County Supervisor, beginning in '69. She then became mayor of the city in '78 and was elected to 2 4-year terms. Senator Feinstein's career has been one of first. Her website biography also says she was the first woman president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, the first woman mayor of San Francisco, the first woman elected senator of California, the first woman and first woman ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, the first woman to chair the Rules and Administrations Committee, and the first woman to chair the Senate Intelligence Committee. Feinstein announced in February that she would not seek a 6th term as California's senior senator in the 2024 general election. A week after the announcement, she was absent from the Senate for more than 2 months as she recovered from a case of shingles. Amid the concerns about her health, Feinstein stepped down as the top Democrat on the Judiciary panel after the 2020 elections, just as the party was about to take the majority. In 2023, she said she would not serve as Senate President pro temp or the most senior member of the majority party, even though she was in line to do so. The President pro temp opened the Senate every day and holds other some ceremonial duties. Fox has told members of her staff have put flowers on Feinstein's desk on the Senate floor as of Friday morning. So there you go. Yeah, so again, I know, as an asshole, this isn't a huge surprise, but of course it's still sad. It's always sad when someone dies, regardless of how old they are. But I'm sure people were expecting it. I'm just gonna be honest here. All right. I'm sure people were expecting it. And it's okay. It's okay. We were expecting it. That's fine. What can you do? But yeah, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to touch on it. That's all. Again, I understand it's very sad, and of course, and again, I hope her family is coping as best they can. I'm sure it's very hard on her daughter. I think let's see, Diane Feinstein. Yeah, so she only has her daughter Catherine. So thoughts and prayers to her daughter Catherine, and I hope she's doing as well as possible currently. Yeah, and again, I hope everyone, you don't have to share any thoughts and prayers or anything if you don't want to, but just hopefully she went peacefully, which I'm sure she did. And yeah, So there we go. So yeah, fine scene has passed. There we are. That's all we got. All right. So next to this. All right. So there's been looting in Philadelphia. And for once, the police have stand up. I know. I go from something so sad to I don't know. Now, let's see. If I remember right. Okay. So I believe the reason for now this isn't justifying this looting, of course, but the reason behind the looting, I believe I heard, was the fact that so what happened was a Philadelphia officer shoots a guy in his car. Okay. Now, normally we're like, okay, yeah, okay. You probably think, oh, right. So he was, going and attacking him, and he was going to kill him, and so he shot himself in self-defense. That's what pretty much people would think. All right. Well, then the body cam footage was released, and it turns out that wasn't the case at all. Although the police officers claimed that the guy was attacking the police officers, it turns out that wasn't the case. The police, because the body cam footage was released recently, and you see the cop get out. Let's see. I wonder if I can see. Okay, maybe I can. Okay, yeah. So there we go. All right. So yeah, let me just share this because it's a lot easier than me trying to explain this shit. Now, let me be clear. This is a very, very bad shoot. Not justified, in my opinion, whatsoever. Hold on. I got a tangled mess here. But so this is what I want, I believe this is why the riot is happening. The looting's happening. Again, not justifiable, but I think this is why. So let's watch it.
Next tonight, the newly released police body camera video of a deadly traffic stop in Philadelphia last month. The officer said he fired because the driver lunged at him with a knife, but that is not what the body camera video shows. The driver never got out of his car. The officer is now charged with murder and other crimes. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas with the new video and a warning. It is disturbing.
Tonight, the stunning new video tells a polar opposite
So we see him get out. All right, he gets out.
Story from the account Philadelphia police initially gave about the fatal shooting of Eddie Irizarry. And today, the officer who fired the fatal shot is charged with murder. In the disturbing police body camera footage, we see the moment the 27-year-old Irizarry
I don't want these
escapes
fuckers.
police gunfire. Irizarry slowly parks his.
Now, I know you probably can't hear it, but what you heard just then was I'm going to fucking shoot you or something like that. Yeah, I'll fucking shoot you.
Irizarry slowly parks his car on this one-way street after police say they noticed him driving erratically and headed the wrong way. It's all caught on this doorbell video released by Irizarry's family. Police pull up seconds later, no sirens. Officer Mark Dial quickly jumps out of the vehicle, yelling at Irizarry, firing 6 shots within 7 seconds.
So he gets out. Now, we're just going off of the body footage here. All right, we're just going off the body footage. All right, the body cam footage. This is all we got. This is what we're going off of. God damn it. This is doing a terrible job showing this because this is terrible. Like, don't get me wrong, this is horrible. This was a very bad shoot. But this fucking is doing a terrible job, I guess.
Irizarry's car door is is up, different from what police initially said.
Okay, fucking newscasters can't do anything right. I want to see the full fucking footage because this is terrible. It's terrible. Shut up. Sorry, I'm scratching my nose. Wasn't picking it. I wonder if I can find it on Twitter. I'm just trying to show the goddamn footage. I'm really just trying to show this goddamn video. Yeah, at this point, I'm getting kind of irritated that it's so hard to find this fucking video. No. All right, whatever. All right, fine. I can't find it. All right, so basically what happens? So you see what happens in that portion where, he goes out, says, I'll fucking shoot you, blah, blah, blah. And then if you can see if you were able to find the footage and you can watch it, I know Ricada Law did it a couple days ago. I can't remember which one or which episode. I mean, so what you can see is the guy just sitting there, or he may be moving around. It's not very clear because it's footage, but regardless, all I remember seeing is the guy didn't really do anything that could be even constituting a threat. And the cop that you see that does the shooting just ends up like unloading. I think he fires 6 rounds and then pauses and then fires a final round. And in my opinion, it's a completely unjustifiable shooting. One, the guy in there is in an enclosed space. He's in his car. He's not moving the car. And the initial claim was he had a knife and he was lunging at the police. This is what the issue was. The initial claim was he's lunging at the police. That's why we shot him. And then the body cam footage comes out and he wasn't lunging at no one. Like he was still in his vehicle. The door was closed. The door didn't open. Nothing. And all of a sudden he gets shot. And as far as I know, there wasn't a gun found. But even if there was, that wasn't the initial lie. That wasn't the initial lie. The initial lie was he was lunging at us with a knife, so that's why we shot him. So that's why there is looting going on. Now, again, doesn't justify it at all, but that's why it's going on. Sorry. That's not why it's going on. I'm incorrect. I lied to you. I apologize. No, the reason this is going on is because now after that footage and after clearly lying to everyone, the police officer was arrested, and then the judge said no, like she wasn't going to prosecute. She threw out the case, or he. Yeah, he just okay. Judge dismissed the charges. My bad, didn't throw it out, but dismissed the charges. Which, let's see. No, it is a female. See, I was already good. Oh, now he has the okay. So all right. Sorry. So here is the reason. All right. So a judge dismissed murder and other charges Tuesday against a Philadelphia police officer who shot and killed a driver through a rolled up window. Confrontation police initially described as the officer shooting the driver after he lunged at him with a knife outside the car. That's what it was initially described as. Now, the municipal judge, Wendy Pugh, agreed with defense attorneys who argued the officer could have feared for his life because he thought the driver, 27-year-old Eddie Izaray, had a gun. But that's not what he fucking said. That's not what the was released. It wasn't he feared because there was a gun. He thought he saw a gun. That wasn't said at all. What was initially said was the officer shot the driver after he lunged at him with a knife. Okay? That's what he initially said. And again, they even brought it up in the, like that's what he initially said. And good. Prosecutors have plans to appeal. This is good. I hope, even though it's not going to, this is a bad ruling from this judge. The judge is a fucking idiot. Okay, like this would have been a good ruling. Well, would have been a potentially good ruling if the initial description was officer thought he saw the driver pulling a gun. That would have been a better, like this ruling would have been more reasonable. But that's not what was described. It wasn't we thought he had a gun. It was he was lunging at us with a knife outside the car. And then when it comes out, oh, no, he was still in the car in an enclosed space and the door didn't open at all. But then this moron of a judge, Wendy Pugh, agrees with defense attorneys when they argued that the officer could have feared for his life because he thought the driver, 27-year-old Eddie Irazari, had a gun. Now, that's a legitimate fear if he saw he had a gun, but that's not what he said. That wasn't what it was initially said. And I'm very irritated, as you can tell, because I keep fucking pursuing it. Yeah, police previously backtracked from their initial statements that Dial shot Izaray outside the vehicle after he lunged at police with a knife. Dial, a 5-year member of the force, was suspended after officers said he refused to cooperate with investigators. And he was fired on September 18th. That's good for him. Now he needs to go to jail. All right, you're sitting here telling me he was trying to lunge at you. He was not. He was locked in the car. So there's no way that he could have get to you guys, and yet you still felt threatened and shot him, said Brown, ascribing the judge ruling to favoritism towards police. This is why people aren't trusting police anymore, by the way. And again, so his partner, Morris, testified Tuesday that he saw the driver hold a knife with a black metal handle that could have looked like a gun. But that's, again, wasn't initially what was described as the incident. The incident was described as being lunged at with a knife. Not that they thought they saw a knife. I screamed that he had a knife, Morris testified. Oh, bullshit. They dabbed his eyes. No. Firing while he didn't try to take any cover. Lack of evidence. Oh my god. So this judge threw it out for lack of evidence. What more evidence did you need? He was in his vehicle, locked in, couldn't get, and the initial report was he was lunging at him with a knife. Oh, and of course, okay. Here's my problem with these people. Okay, first off, okay, I don't know Walter Wallace. Let me see. Okay, first off, these are not good people to try and compare. Okay, so what is this? Is this the lawyer? Okay, city member Brooks. Okay, this is the problem. All these fucking people are criminals. They're all criminals. So, are you trying to say that this guy Eddie was a criminal as well? Because they're lumping him in with Walter Wallace. Now, for those who don't know, Walter Wallace, he was an African American male who was shot by police officers. Now, here's the thing. Unlike Eddie, Walter Wallace was, there was a domestic response by two officers. Walter Wallace walked out with a knife. The officers backed, and I'm just reading this off of Wikipedia, so I don't know all the facts, but I'm just reading this real quick off of Wikipedia. He was walking after them with a knife. They backed off, told him to drop the knife. He didn't, and I'm assuming continued to advance towards them and was shot. Okay? Very different from Eddie. Eddie wasn't doing anything except in his car. Now, I'm talking about before he got shot. He wasn't doing anything. He was in his car. So that's completely different. George Floyd, we all know about George Floyd. And Breonna Taylor, she also wasn't. Look, was that a bad shoot? Maybe, but this chick was also a criminal that, if I remember correct, Breonna Taylor, I don't think she actually was the one doing the shooting, but she was with her boyfriend who was a bad dude. So her shooting isn't, it wasn't a bad shoot because they were getting shot at by her boyfriend. And then I'm trying to remember this case. And then the police responded firing in, and she ended up dying. But she was involved with the criminal activity. It kind of ended up going with the territory of it. Now, should he not have been shot? Absolutely not. But, she wasn't innocent in all this. So don't compare. I mean, unless, I don't know, maybe Eddie Azaris is also a criminal. But all these people that got killed, they didn't deserve it necessarily. But these were criminals. They were resisting arrest, and it unfortunately resulted in their resisting arrest. They were with someone that was resisting arrest. They were a criminal alongside. They were a conspiracy, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. These three individuals that they're naming are all criminals doing bad shit, and their encounter with police ended with their death. Okay, is it bad? Yes, but they're nothing like this Eddie Azari. I can't. Okay, they're nothing like Eddie's case. Eddie's case is 100% unjustifiable, no matter regardless. He was locked in the car. There was no semblance of a weapon, and there was no semblance of a gun because guess what? They didn't say that in their initial reporting. If they had said that in their initial reporting, then you have an argument. But that's not what they said. So don't compare Eddie to these three other people because it was completely different. And the family attorney Shaka Johnson filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Yeah, sue these fuckers. Fuck these people. Like, no. I hope they win like a buttload of money from these fuckers. And I hope it looks like the prosecutor is going to try and retry the case. So I hope that happens because fuck this guy. He shot some guy for no fucking reason. All right. Anyways, so that was a long roundabout way to say that's why they're rioting, which again doesn't justify the rioting or the looting. But hey, I can kind of understand on this one for once. Now, their looting and stuff has resulted in dozens of arrests, including juveniles who, after stores ransacked across the city. Also, looting. What does that accomplish? You're just taking all it's going to end up doing is causing businesses to leave your city and make your city poor. So this really doesn't do fuck all. Looting's dumb. Okay, it's not dumb in the sense you get free shit, but it's dumb because it doesn't like protest. Go protest, absolutely. Go protest and protest, vote your city, vote this judge, vote the city council members out, et cetera, et cetera. Do all that. That's perfectly fine. But don't fucking loot. You just make yourselves look like idiots. And then you go to jail. But yeah, I was initially reporting on this because now I'm like kind of on their side, but not also because they're fucking idiots. But anyways, a bunch of people went and started looting. And for once, they got fucking arrested. So, there's a plus side of this. They got arrested for their fucking looting. I've kind of wasted a bunch of time on this, so I'm not really going to go through the article like I was planning. But yeah, so that's what happened. So in Philadelphia, they people started robbing their stores, and they got getting arrested for once instead of doing what they normally do, which is just let them go. So there's a plus for the city of Philadelphia for at least trying to establish law and order. But if they really want to establish something, they need to rearrest the fucking the officer and charge him and actually put him on trial because that guy needs to go to jail because that was fully unjustifiable. And then there's a social media chick known as Meatball who was inciting BLM rioting and looting in Philadelphia. She was one of the people that was arrested. And then she cried about it, and she's out today. So she was thinking it was all great and also hilarious, but then she got arrested and didn't think it was so good. Okay, this is funny. Hold on. Also, she instead of looting, she needs to go to the gym.
Told the police they either lock me up tonight or it's gonna get lit. It's gonna be a move.
This is one of her videos. And she gets arrested. Meat looks Latifah from set off. We go on
the police they either lock me up tonight or it's gonna get.
Okay. All right.
Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat.
There she goes, just cheering on.
Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. That's what I'm talking
Apparently,
about.
everyone must eat. Not you. You need to stop eating.
Well, Eddie.
Like this, no, let's go, Eddie. They're trying to do this in the name of Eddie. Yeah, you're gonna hurt the businesses that actually help bring income into your city. For Eddie, okay. You guys don't give a fuck. You're just looking for an excuse to riot. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, there she is. She's crying. She's very upset she got arrested. I mean, she's out today, so wow, she was charged with 6 felonies. Holy shit. Okay.
All that needs to be expunged off my record, bro. Like, be expunged off my record, bro. Like, what? I am an innocent person, bro. I am not a trouble person. I am a good person. I am a.
You were
You know what I'm saying? I'm a
literally
businesswoman.
on
Like, I don't
fucking
like this.
camera
I don't honestly. Okay,
inciting
yeah,
the
I'm trending,
riots.
Yeah, I geek. But to be trending like this, though, for real, though. Yeah, okay, I'm trending like this, switch it around. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool, but damn, trending like this. Really, though. You know.
Lack of accountability. Shocking. All right, so there we go. All right, now we got one more thing on this whole BLM crap, and then I'm done. And it's this moron who's wearing a mask in Chicago. So let's see what she has to say.
If somebody decides to loot a Gucci or a Macy's or a Nike, because that makes sure that that person eats. That makes sure that that person has clothes. That's
I'm gonna get a job. That's not reparations.
That
It's
is
stealing.
reparations.
It's stealing.
Anything they want to take it, because these businesses have insurance. They're gonna get their money.
That's not correct. Not all the businesses, and mostly these people attack. You know where they attack? It's black-owned businesses, and most of the time, they're fairly new businesses. They don't quite have. They have insurance for workers' comp insurance. They have that, but they don't actually end up having insurance to recover from damages or loss of revenue. And all that. Actually, a lot of fucking stores during the whole quote unquote summer of love ended up closing down after the riots because they didn't have the money, or insurance took too long that they couldn't actually survive. So this woman clearly doesn't know what she's doing.
Money back. My people aren't getting anything.
Okay, first off, lady, you have not experienced any slavery. And while maybe your grandma and your parents experienced racism, your grandma maybe experienced some slavery. Let's see. Wait, hold on. No, not grandma. Oh, yeah. No, not your grandma. Never mind. So, maybe your great grandma experienced some slavery, but your grandma definitely didn't experience slavery. Your parents didn't experience slavery. So, no, don't claim something that you've never experienced, because you didn't experience it, and neither did your mom, your parents, or your grandmother or your grandparents. All right, they didn't experience any of this crap.
If somebody decides to loot a Gucci or a Macy's.
So yeah, so she thinks if you loot shit, that's reparations. It's not reparations. You're stealing from other people's business. And not all businesses. And again, they're not stealing at Gucci. They're not stealing on. They're going into black-owned stores, black-owned, black neighborhoods and stuff, and rioting there. That's where they're rioting, because that's where they end up getting away with it. So they only end up hurting black-owned businesses. So they just hurt their own people more, because they're fucking idiots. All right. Oh. All right. I want to go over this. Also, everyone, check out Coffee Brand Coffee. I am not in the mood to do the whole spiel. Check it out.
If you have a utility meter like this on the side of your house, you can get paid to go solar for no money out of pocket.
5%
It
off.
costs nothing to install the panels, and you can immediately get a credit on your bill when your meter runs backwards, and then you get paid for the excess power you produce from your
referral code. Again,
there are federal and state subsidies available to you to get paid to go solar, but it is expiring soon. So click the link in this video and it will take you to a new window. You can still watch this video you're here for, but we will just ask you a quick couple of questions to see if your home qualifies. Not all homes do qualify, so make sure you click the link to see if you can make $100, $200, or even $500 per month with solar panels at no cost.
95. veteran of the Korean War, said he was only given 2 months notice to find a new assisted.
If you have a utility meter like this on the side of your house, you can get paid to go solar for no money out of pocket.
I'm annoyed about
it costs nothing to install the panels, and you can immediately get a credit on your bill when your meter runs backwards, and then you get paid for the excess power you produce from your solar. There are federal and state subsidies available to you to get paid to go solar, but it is expiring soon. So click the link in this video, and it will take you to a new window.
One day
you
there
can
was a
still
notice
watch
on
this
board
video
that
you're here for, but we will just ask you a quick couple of questions to see if your home qualifies. Not all homes do qualify, so make sure you click the link to see if you can make $100, $200, or even $500 per month with solar panels at no cost to you.
If it wasn't for my daughter, they would have been on the curb.
I think it's been enough time.
That was it. I said no.
I think people need to just hear this plainly.
Yes.
We covered the trial of Derek Chauvin day in, day out.
Actually, make any
I covered every single minute of it.
Stopped them because.
And I'm just going to come out here and say something as plain as I can.
Congresswoman
Derek Chauvin did not murder George Floyd.
New York explained during the press conference.
Derek Chauvin,
Mayor Adams' administration,
did not murder George Floyd.
It was the Mayor Adams' administration. All right.
We as a country
made a deal.
Need to have a system of criminal justice. We do.
Staten Island assisted living facility into
but we can't have a system of political justice, of woke justice.
And said that it shows our country and our city priorities are backwards. Blood pressure went through the roof when it found out homes for the homeless cut a deal.
But they're not going to tell you that with permission we hacked into the election management system in front of our Secretary of State, gave him all his own passwords in less than 3 minutes.
Should not be utilized how citizens of other countries, especially at the expense of our senior citizens and veterans who put their lives on the line, paid their taxes,
4 of them say everything's
their whole lives, and built our community.
68% of Americans don't trust our elections. Why? There's no accountability and no transparency. There's one candidate, that's myself, that acknowledges the problems that we have, has the solutions, and has the courage and the backbone to fix these problems. Because the people of Louisiana deserve better. We're going to give you a certified election on paper ballots within minutes of the polls closing,
which have created crises across the country. Over the past
your vote. No more 143-year-olds on our registration.
Emergency over the crisis,
right? We deserve better than that. Out of time. Go to Let's Go Brandon.net /education GEAUX.
Now that they have now they don't want to be a sanctuary city. That's hilarious. At a town hall earlier this month, Adams insisted that the crisis would destroy New York City. Data shows that roughly
it was woke justice
immigrants currently reside in the Big
Derek
Apple.
Chauvin behind bars.
Post,
it was woke justice.
Adult age legal
that got O.J. Simpson
out required to obtain work visas
of prison,
which allow them to start
when he killed his ex-wife, nearly chopped her head off, and killed a waiter.
In addition to Staten Island assisted living,
this country stands at a precipice right now.
Has transferred hotels.
Are we going to allow the forces of political correctness, political opinion, public opinion, mob rule, and mob justice to determine the course of our country? Or are we going to live in an ordered society
house these legal
where we can look at facts, we can look at reason, we can use rational argument
has most likely
to determine
the amount of legal
the outcome of events.
Has reportedly doubled in the city since
we can't redefine murder.
So there you go.
Because we,
fuck our veterans. As New York says, we're just gonna kick them out, and then we'll kick them out, and then we're all good, right? So yeah, that's what New York says to our veterans, which is bullshit. Like you, and you know what? New York does. The city government of New York deserves this shit and deserves the backlash. And I hope New Yorkers wake up and kick the administration out. Why? Because this is all resulting in their policy. See, they were fine being a sanctuary city when it didn't affect them, when it was all Texas' problem, and they could get maybe a few here and there, but it was mostly Texas' problem and Arizona's problem and California's problem, but it wasn't the problem in New York. But we want to be nice, so we'll call ourselves a sanctuary city. But then all of a sudden, Texas government says, all right, you want to be a sanctuary city? Have some immigrants. Now they don't like this so much. And I think it's fucking hilarious, honestly. All right. So here we are. So Gavin, on to, I'm kind of speeding through these because I'm fucking tired. And everything like that. But I'm tired. So I'm just trying to speed through these a little bit. Because I did a lot on the Philadelphia thing. I wasn't really planning to do that much, but I didn't think anyone was really caught up to speed. And as you can tell, I got very crappy. Oh, this is so this here is Taylor Business. And she strangled a guy during kinky sex and killed him, and then mutilated his body and then fondled his penis after she cut it off. And she had a trial. She was found guilty, shockingly. And it looks like she just got sent to life without parole. So that's who that chick was, if you weren't. Anyways, back to this California. So California just had their magazine ban struck down by a judge, a very pro 2A judge, by the way. So in response, it looks like California governor signs law raising taxes on gun and ammunition to pay for school safety. California will ban people from carrying guns and firearms in most public places while so not only what the fuck? So not only are they banning people from carrying firearms in most public places, they're also going to double the taxes on guns and ammunition sold in the state under the two new laws. Governor Gavin Newsom signed Tuesday that will test the limits of the... No, it's going to get struck down is what's going to happen. Let's be honest. Because this is... Okay, so yeah, the new test the limits of the U.S. Supreme Court's new standard for interpreting the Second Amendment. The federal government already taxes the sales of gun and ammunition at either 10 or 11%, depending on the type of gun. The law Newsom signed adds another 11% on top of that, making California the only state with a separate tax on guns and ammunition, according to gun control advocate group Bradley. The money will pay for security improvements on public schools and a variety of gun violence prevention programs, including those geared towards young people in gangs. The money from the federal tax, which has been in place for more than 100 years, pays for wildlife conservation and hunter education programs. The laws were some of the nearly 24 gun control measures Newsom signed on Tuesday, but he acknowledged many of these laws might not survive legal challenges now that the Supreme Court has imposed a new standard on interpreting the national gun laws. Just last week, so that's a banning. So you acknowledge these are probably going to get thrown out, and you still sign them. So again, it kind of just proves that Newsom's not really into actually doing any solutions. He's just trying to make political points, because this is in his attempt to maybe put his name in for governor or for president. It may not mean nothing if the Supreme Courts are throwing them out. If they do mean nothing, Newsom said, "We feel very strongly that these bills meet the new standard." They don't. They were drafted accordingly, but I'm not naive about the recklessness of the federal courts and the ideological agenda. Yeah, they're not. They weren't thought out. California Rifle and Pistol Association has already sued to block one of the new laws, but Newsom signed on Tuesday, that bans people from carrying guns in most public places. Again, explain to me, Newsom, how this law, this ban from the ban from carrying guns in public will prevent gun deaths in your city. It won't, because the criminals who are going to carry the guns anyways, All it does is just make victims of law-abiding citizens. This does nothing. The law overhauls the state's rules for concealed carry permits in light of the U.S. Supreme Court's decision, New York State Rifle Association and Pistol Association versus Bruin. It specifically bans people from carrying guns in 26 places, including public parks, playgrounds, public demonstrations, gathering, amusement parks, churches, banks, zoos, and other privately owned commercial establishments that is open to public unless the owner puts up a sign saying guns are allowed. What the fuck? Why should an owner have to put up a sign that says guns are allowed? Maybe the owner can say put up a sign that says guns not allowed. These laws will not make us safer. They are unconstitutional, retaliatory, and vindictive response to the Supreme Court affirmation that the Second Amendment protects an individual's right to choose to own a firearm for sport or to... No, that is not what the Second Amendment's about. The Second Amendment is about fuck you. That is what the Second Amendment. Don't define what the Second Amendment protects. All it says is you have the right to bear arms. It doesn't require a reasoning. Okay? When you delineate a reason behind it, then you get people saying, well, then if it's just for these reasons, I can ban them for other reasons and allow you to use them. Because guess what? Newsom can put a law. If it's just about firearms for sport, okay, you can bring your guns to the range and to hunt and stuff like that and to defend your family. Well, you don't need, we have police out and about, so you don't need your gun to protect your family when you're in public, but you can have them at your home. That's all this ends up doing. So stop giving them a reason to. Your reasoning behind the Second Amendment is right to bear arms. That's all the reasoning I need. I have the right to bear arms. I don't need another fucking reason. I have the right to bear arms that is recognized by the government, not given to us by the government. That's your reasoning. It's fuck you, right to bear. Fucking idiots. They're being challenged, and the second they are signed, the clocks start ticking towards judgment striking down. Now, these are definitely going to get struck down because these are bad laws. Now, don't get it twisted. I think a privately owned commercial establishment has every right to say no guns. The government doesn't have the right to say no guns in these areas. These places, whoever owns not the public parks or the playgrounds or public demonstration, no. Whoever owns the amusement parks, the churches, the banks, the zoos, they can say no guns allowed, okay? But the public, the government, cannot. Newsom, potential Democrat for president beyond 2024. He's never going to be president. Has a reputation as one of the country's most liberal governors. No. He's the guy that likes to try and score brownie points without doing anything that actually gets done. All right. So Newsom potential has a reputation, but also he has often refused to raise taxes, even for causes he supports, like combating climate change. However, Newsom said he views this tax differently than the other general increases he tends to oppose. He argues gun violence already costs taxpayers a lot of money in health impacts and in the criminal justice system. You know what also impacts the criminal justice system? All the fucking homeless and shit and druggies you got in your city. I think this is a pretty modest investment in prevention, reducing those costs. No, it's not. Ultimately, he said, later adding the carnage is too much. We can't normalize it. We can't accept it. This is a small price to pay. California has some of the lowest gun death rates in the country, ranking 43 out of 50 states with 9 deaths for every 100,000 people, according to a 2021 data from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. But violent crimes have increased recently. The violent crimes increased by 6.1% in 2022, according to California Department of Justice. Now, they did some clever wording here. California has some of the lowest gun death rates. Okay. Now, how is that a clever word? Well, gun deaths involves the death by a firearm. So that's gang on gang. That is suicides. That's accidentals. That's self-defense. If I shoot you with my gun as self-defense and you die, that is a gun death. So I would like Governor Newsom or someone to break down how much of those gun death rates are gang-on-gang violence, criminals, doing violence with gun, etc. Those type of gun deaths, okay, compared to everyone else in the country, and then how many gun deaths are suicide, accidental, self-defense with other countries. That we should delineate that. Okay, how many of the gun deaths are gang-on-gang, criminal, violence, stuff like that, and then delineate that across the country, because they use gun deaths and they lump everything in together. So I'm just curious, like, what's the gun death rate when it comes to violent criminals doing it? Violent criminals attacking, innocent people, not including self-defense, not including suicides, not including accidentals. Because those generally are the highest that you get. Okay? And who knows, maybe the gun death rates are still lower, but violent crimes are increasing. All right. No state has a special tax just for guns and ammunition, although some local governments do. Tennessee once had a 10-cent tax on shotgun shells, but the tax has been repealed. Pennsylvania collects a $30 surcharge on gun sales to pay for background checks. Fees on California purchases currently total more than $37, with most of the money paying for background checks. You need $37 to do a background check? What the fuck? Taxing firearm sales to fund violent intervention programs is essentially to interrupt the cycle of violence and stopping gun violence before it begins. We encourage other states to follow in suit. Yeah, okay, sure. But you're punishing people by increasing, like, okay, then look, this all sounds good. It really does. It makes you really want to be like, yeah, I agree. You do a tax for guns and you funnel it into violent intervention programs and school safeties and all that stuff. It sounds good. But here's the thing. California wastes a lot of money on various other things. Didn't they just pass a transgender or reparations or something like that at some point, where they're giving like $1,000 to, I can't remember if it was transgender or blacks, or I can't remember. I think it was transgender. You gave they're giving $1,000 to like transgenders. Why don't you use all that money to do this? Why are you charging gun owners who want to protect themselves, or use it for whatever? Sorry. Why are you charging gun owners for using their rights when you're using money that you have to give transgenders thousands of dollars? It doesn't make sense to me. Whatever. And I don't think at all these monies are going to do anything. I don't think at all. And I'm willing to bet their school safety it's not going to include hiring bodyguards or armed guards at all. But it's not going to do that. And what is violence intervention programs? Okay, wouldn't it be better to start investing in families again, the nuclear family? Because that's generally the first line of defense for any violence intervention programs. I don't know, instead of Democrats investing in paying single moms exorbitant amounts of money. It's not really exorbitant, but there's incentives to be a single tax incentives and stuff like that. That's why that's why the nuclear family is all broken up. I'm really tired, so I'm not articulating well, so I do apologize. All right. Tax has some exemptions. It would not apply to police officers. Why not? It would not apply to business with sales of less than $5,000 over a 3-month period. State officials estimate it would generate about $159 million annually. The law says the first $75 million of that money must go to the California Violence Intervention and Prevention Grant Program. The program has funded projects targeting young people in gangs, supporting sports programs, life coaching, and tattoo removal. The next $50 million would go to the State Department of Education to boost security at schools. That includes things like physical security improvements, safety assessments, after-school programs for at-risk youth, and mental behavioral health services for student teachers and other school employees. That brought comfort to State Senator Catherine Blakespear, a Democrat from San Diego, who said she was on the Senate floor earlier this year when they got a text message from her 9th grade saying they were hiding under a desk. No one was injured. I know there are thousands of families that are going through this and normalizing the hardening of our schools. The reality is we have to protect people by doing things like this. Is something we don't want in this state and in this country. Yeah, well, how much money you guys spend on drag queen story hour, pushing agendas in schools? I mean, California's a big state. You're telling me that as big of a state as you are, you need to increase the taxes on purchasing of a right to fund stuff like this? A giant state like California, that's always, it's something that, most presidents have to win. Like the vote in California is fairly important to win the presidency generally. Like, you don't have to win the California president, but it helps a lot immensely. But a giant state like California, they have to increase taxes on people purchasing firearms to utilize their rights, because you don't have the funds to do it. Like, we all know California wastes a bunch of fucking money. Like I said, transgender shit, drag queen story hours, all that stuff, the homeless issues they have so much money to deal with that stuff, but they can't fund any of this without having to tax people. Seriously? Get out of California, people. All right, I'm done with this. Fuck Gavin Newsom. How long is this CBS article? Okay, it's very short. Thank God. I'm fading fast. All right, so we're going to talk about Joy Behar because she's a moron. Okay, man, I'm so fucking tired. All right, Joy Behar says country could survive if Biden dies in office, but says U.S. won't survive a Trump win. But we already did. God forbid Joe dies in office. Isn't that still okay for the country? The View host said. The View Co-host Joy Behar argued on Tuesday that it would still be okay for the country if Biden dies while serving a second term, but insists the country won't survive if Donald Trump were reelected. We already survived once. Why wouldn't we survive a second time? Seriously, this makes no sense. Let's see if she can explain it. While discussing media chatter about the president's age and the Axios report said Biden's team was taking steps to make sure the president doesn't fall again, Behar said the country wouldn't survive another Trump presidency. Why? Question is, let's say, God forbid, Joe Biden dies in office. Isn't that still okay for the country? The country will survive it, but if Trump wins, the country will not survive it. Well, why? She said, as the audience applaud, that's a fact. Well, why is that a fact? Co-host Alyssa Fahard Griffin and Sarah Haynes seemed to push back as Griffin said she didn't see the world in such black and white terms. Griffin said that she hoped Trump wouldn't end up being the nominee and argued that they need to be realistic about the possibility of the former president defeating Biden in a potential 2024 rematch. Trump's not going to beat Biden. His approval ratings are far higher. He's at 54%. Or was it? He's 51. He's 51 to Biden's 42. Like, come on, people. This is just delusional at this point. All right. I still haven't heard why the country wouldn't survive if Trump wins. Let's see if she says later on. Griffin said they didn't want a repeat of what happened in 2016. He already beat him in 2020. He beat him by a lot. Behar waved her hand. He'll beat him again. Here's the thing, lady. We now have seen what 4 years of Trump. Under, not only did we have 4 years of Trump, we had him under when he was being scrutinized and accused of being a Russian plant. All that was fake, and so we saw how the country was 4 years under Trump, and we're seeing how 4 years under Biden is. And this is a vast, vast difference. That's the thing that people aren't realizing. Is we've seen a huge difference between how Trump led and how Biden led, how much respect we had with Trump, how much little respect we have with Biden, how much our gas was, how much our food was. All these factors are coming into to regular people. And we've seen how Trump acts and how Biden acts. Biden looks like he's just wearing a diaper at all times. Haynes said earlier in the daytime talk show segment that the presidency was the single most stressful job that anyone could hold, arguing that it's not about ageism. We keep couching in front of Donald Trump and President Biden. There's fair and critical arguments to be here about age. When you're looking at this, it's not about ageism. Not all people of certain ages built the same way. Very, very soon. There's an article yesterday will be living to possible 120. So our age is arbitrary right now. It has nothing to do with age. It has to really yes, age is a factor. But just look how he acts, how Biden acts. Like, he looks lost every single time he gets behind a podium and talks. He looks lost. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's rambling. He's making up stories. But it's fair because people hand it over at leadership positions when they feel like they've hit the points. We talk all the time about how much his office ages presidents. Look at President Obama, then President Obama. He was a young man. Look at every president. Co-host Whoopi Goldberg, who's a fucking idiot, chimed in and said Biden was still doing the job despite Haynes' point. Not very well. She also said that Haynes also said while she liked Biden, she still feels the need to bring up the argument. Donald Trump has way more than age against him, likely. Literally, I would take someone 98 next to Donald Trump, I will take anything. The age conversation needs to be had. No, it has literally nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with the fact that this guy, whenever he gets, on, he just looks lost, confused, and it doesn't look good for him. Like, he looks confused. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's lost all the time. All right. Next article. House Republicans say they have uncovered bank wires obtained by subpoena that allegedly revealed, and this is from the 27th, so there may be new news on this. I don't know. I didn't watch the hearings because I don't think they're going to end up coming to anything. They said Republicans say they uncovered bank wires obtained by subpoenas that allegedly reveal Hunter Biden's receiving payments or originating from Beijing that listed President Joe Biden's Delaware residence as the beneficiary address. An announcement.
Clean, effective, all-day deodorant.
You smell amazing.
It's native.
In a statement Tuesday, the
Native
Republican
combines the best of nature with the best of science that neutralizes
Hey.
odor-causing bacteria for
Comer,
long
the alleged bank wires to the president's son included more than $25,000 in payments from 3 individuals in the summer 2019. Comer assert the Delaware address on the wire transfers compound questions about what Joe Biden may have known about his son's overseas business dealings. I'm just looking. Okay. There doesn't seem to be any update on it, so it's not too old news. May have known about his son's overseas dealings, and he said any past Biden financial entanglement with China heightens national security concerns. America demands and deserves accountability for President Biden and the first family corruption, Comer said, adding that his probe will continue. Biden has long maintained he has no involvement in his son's business dealings. And on Tuesday, Hunter Biden's attorney, Ablow, told CBS that the announcement from congressional Republicans was just a latest example of finding a purported wrongdoing that evaporates in thin air when facts come out. In a statement, Lowe said the bank transfers resulted from loans Hunter Biden received from private individual. They referenced his father's Delaware address because it was on his personal driver's license at the time. So, okay, whatever. Lowe said Hunter Biden's borrowed the funds while making a substantial investment in a partnership called BHR. We expected more occasions where the Republicans twist the truth to mislead people to promote their false political agenda. Lowell said in his statement, kind of like the Democrats did with Trump. The White House called Comer's statement half-baked innuendos and conspiracy theories. White House spokesman Ian Sams said the finding shows no evidence of wrongdoing by President Biden, just more discredited personal attacks on him and his family. House Oversight and Accountability Committee's investigators initially requested records from Hunter Biden, including documents, financial statements, communications in February, as part of a wide-range investigation into whether President Biden had any role in foreign or domestic businesses brokered by the Biden family. At the time, Lowell said the probe lacked a legitimate legislative purpose. He said he proposed a meeting with the committee members to further discuss the request, but received no response. This latest subpoena comes ahead of the GOP-led House Oversight Committee first impeachment hearing of inquiry. First hearing of impeachment inquiry into Biden, scheduled Thursday, focused on alleged constitutional legal questions surrounding the president's involvement in corruption and abuse of public office, according to the committee. Hunter Biden's foreign business affairs have been a central focus of the investigation led by congressional Republicans. Comer released a list of series of memos earlier in the year. Alleged bank records suggest millions in payments received by Biden and associated from foreign entities during and after Joe Biden's vice presidency. Comer went further, claiming the president was aware of his son's business dealings and allowed him to be the brand sold to enrich the Biden family. Later disclosures are for the wire transfers that occurred in 2019, during the period when Mr. Biden was not in office but was campaigning for the White House. In a closed-door testimony before the House Oversight Committee in July, Devon Archer, Hunter Biden's former business associate who served with... Okay, this is just a rehash of what happened during the meeting, so I'm not going to read this. All right, cool. There we go. All right, one last thing. So, I don't know. I didn't see any latest news on that stuff, so I don't know. I don't think this is going anywhere. I think this is still, I don't think nothing's going to happen. I don't think the impeachment's going to go through. So, yeah, I have no faith whatsoever. It's fine. No, I'm allowed not to have any faith. All right, so now we're going to watch. Last thing is the Representative Jasmine Crockett, the Democrat of Texas. So let's
on because he's got 91 counts pending right now. But I will tell you what the
I believe she's talking about Trump in here.
President has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child. Until they find some evidence, we need to get back to the people's work, which means keeping this government open so that people don't go hungry in the streets of the United States. And I will yield.
So, this is just a clip of her. And I don't know. I get the ghetto sense. Like, she's like, talking like this and her head twirling shit. Like, it's that, when I see that, I think ghetto. That's what I think. I think ghetto. Like, and the only thing Biden is guilty of is loving his child unconditionally. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Hey, she's getting roasted. I'm not gonna watch. But look, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe it's just it seemed all ghetto, like doing the or like maybe that's just a young kid thing. But it just seemed like dumb. The only thing he's guilty of. What the fuck? No, Biden's guilty of a lot more than that lady, and we all know that. Come on, we all know he's a lot more. He's guilty of far more things than just loving his child unconditionally. But yeah, all right, there we go. Fucking finally. All right, I'm gonna go to bed, exhausted. I hope you all have a good day. Peace out. Make sure you follow me at official WGhost and follow me on YouTube and Rumble. For WithGhost, that's rumble.com/WithGhost. And then my gaming channel on Kick and Rumble as well. And that's rumble.com/GamingWithGhost. I hope you all have a good day. Peace out. See you later.